Today, I have an infomercial for you. So if you aren't already sold on group therapy, hopefully this lecture will do it. Dive into the dynamic world of group therapy and addiction counseling, where transformative insights await. Discover the proven effectiveness of group therapy in tackling substance use disorder as we unpack key concepts that bring therapy to life. Our lecture today goes beyond the basics, offering a thrilling overview of various group therapy types that promise to reshape and reinvigorate your approach to treatment. Explore the stages of group therapy and unlock practical techniques designed for the unique dynamics of group settings. But wait, there's more. We'll navigate the intricacies of special issues and self care concepts tied to addiction counseling and group therapy, adding a practical touch to your skill set. Join us for an engaging review that goes beyond the ordinary, injecting energy into your understanding of addiction treatment. Come follow me into a topic that is near and dear to my heart. There will be real life client examples, opportunities for discussion, and hopefully some surprises. This isn't just a lecture, it's an exciting journey towards an enhanced proficiency and meaningful connections in the world of group therapy. But before we really get started, I'm just going to hit you with your first discussion question. What are your thoughts and your experiences with group therapy? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you know nothing about it? Does it intimidate you? Does it invigorate you? I want to hear it all right here. Step right up and get to typing. So, in the realm of addiction, where interpersonal challenges often loom large, group therapy emerges as a beacon of healing. Picture this: within the group dynamic, the repercussions of addiction unfold like a gripping drama, showcasing everything from strained family dynamics to the crucial development of the pro social skills and boundary settings. It's not just therapy, it's a front row seat to intricate interplay and real world experiences. Yalom had loads to say about group therapy and saw it as a microcosm of reality. Every nuance of an individual's real world existence takes center stage and is observable within the group space. The group becomes a canvas where one's struggles and triumphs paint a vivid picture. Picture yourself as a counselor navigating this dynamic landscape with intentionality, steering the group towards transformative recovery. It's powerful stuff. And this isn't just regular individual therapy, it's an intentional journey through the stages of change where every moment is an interaction, offers a chance for healing and restoring. When the real world meets a group dynamic, it can be a roller coaster of awareness building and insights, and the journey towards recovery unfolds in ways that are both intentional, accidental, and always exciting. So, have I sold you on it yet? There are a variety of different types of groups to offer. Some types include educational, vocational, social, and personal. In this context, we delve into psychoeducational dimensions within group setting or exploring topics such as career counseling and related considerations. In all groups, we emphasize the significance of pro social skills, and our focus extends to the intricacies of interpersonal interactions. This encompasses honing interpersonal effectiveness, refining communication skills, and establishing clear boundaries. On a more personal level, group dynamics shift towards an exploration of individual issues and family dynamic intricacies. The setting provides a platform to delve into the nuanced aspects of thought errors and the implementation of behavioral modifications, allowing for a comprehensive and targeted approach to personal growth. If you're creating a group, once you've chosen what the topic of your group will focus on, either educational, vocational, social, or personal, next you decide between an open or closed group. An open group is common in drug and alcohol treatment settings, especially in higher levels of care where one might be offering partial hospitalization programming or intensive outpatient treatment services. In those levels of care, there's a requirement of time spent in therapy, which can be anywhere from 9 to 20 hours a week for IOP and 20 to 25 for partial. So group work makes a lot of sense here to fill that therapeutic requirement. So open groups are, it's in the name, they're open. It means that there's no formal start date or end date of the group. The group has been in existence since before the client entered treatment and will continue to run long after they leave treatment. And clients are admitted and discharged to it on a rolling basis. The open group will come with its own benefits and risks. Some say that an open group makes it difficult for individuals to become cohesive within that group setting. Knowing that people are coming and going, it's a little bit hard to build trust sometimes. And there's also a spectrum to consider of where people are at in their own recovery process. You might have somebody that's been in the group for a long period of time, maybe in the maintenance stage of change, and they have a new individual coming into the group that's in early stages of recovery. The addiction counselor is tasked with being able to recognize that spectrum and work within it in a way that's effective. And I would launch a counter argument here that it's a great opportunity for leaders within the group to emerge and show their leadership skills and help welcome new members into the group and set the culture for the group in an ongoing way. Members in maintenance can serve as mentors to the new admits. It can offer a sense of ownership and completion. It also leans heavily into individualized care since each group member can stay for as long or as short as they need to meet their treatment goals. Putting a time limit on somebody's treatment stay doesn't always feel very client centered to me. So, as far as closed groups go, they might be more specific or maybe a more specialized topic. So, for example, you could have a group of individuals who are experiencing re entry from incarceration. The closed group would have a beginning and an end date, and a closed group would consist of specific group members throughout the duration of the group. So, no new members would be able to come into the group at any given point in time. They all start together and they all complete together. And these are usually more like 6 to 8 weeks at a time. Sometimes it might be 10 or 12, depending on the group, the people, the needs, the topic. And then there's self help groups, and these play a pivotal role in addiction counseling, serving as integral components to fostering recovery. Faith and spirituality permeate many addiction counseling groups with distinct emphasis in the self help groups like 12-step programming. Other examples of self help groups that you might encounter are Smart Recovery, Celebrate Recovery, Recovery Dharma, Life Ring, Women for Sobriety, and Moderation Management. And when engaging with individuals grappling with substance use disorders, our goal is to introduce them to enriching and secure group therapy processes. Encouraging the exploration of diverse self help groups within the community becomes a crucial aspect to our approach, promoting continuity of care, an essential element of the aftercare process. This comprehensive strategy seeks to empower individuals on their journey to recovery by integrating various support networks and therapeutic modalities. And seeking social support is also something that I try to incorporate in each person's treatment plan that I meet. As you might remember from Rat Park, connection and social support is so essential for a person creating a life worth living. Group therapy and self help groups can be just two items on a person's menu for ways that they can build up that social connection and sense of belonging. Gerald Corey has identified the group stages seen at the top of the slide. In the initial stage, it's the orientation and exploration. People are really beginning to explore who they are within the group, what their role is within the group, and what the purpose of the group is. And it's fairly common that in the initial stage, individuals also wonder about the counselor. They might ask you questions. Hey, are you an addict too? Because you don't really look like one. Or how old are you? Are you even qualified to do this? They might try to involve you in the activities, ask you for your check in, or ask you about your response to a discussion question. And dealing with resistance is really common at the transition stage of group therapy. Resistance will come when people start to learn that they have a conflict with their schema and as they're learning the reality of their situation. We've already reviewed concepts of ambivalence and resistance and discussed ways to effectively address them within individual counseling. The same rules apply to the transition stage of group therapy. And the working stage is when the group becomes extremely cohesive and productive. The roles have been identified within the group, everybody has clarity on the purpose of the group, and group norms are being followed and the work is being done. And in the final stage, that's when we start to think about consolidation and termination. And the hope would be that there's assimilation and accommodation of learned information, that individuals have developed those pro social and healthy relationships, that they have improved boundary setting, and that they're prepared for closure and aftercare. And thinking about Gestalt therapy concepts of beginning, middle, and end, you'll see individuals within the group have particular strengths in the beginning, the middle, or the end of this group relationship. And most often, people who have suffered from addiction or trauma experiences do have some growth edges around termination in the final stage when it comes to change. So it also comes with loss. It's not uncommon to see somebody do well throughout their group, match all their treatment goals, and get to this ending and relapse or return to use. Be careful here as you navigate endings. Group offers a great way and a new opportunity to explore closure in a very healthy, safe, and meaningful way. And there's another popular group theory that you'll bump into, and this one's by Bruce Tuckman. And this is where Corey got his idea from. And I personally think that I might like Tuckman's a little bit better, maybe just because the stages rhyme and it's a little easier to remember. But forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. This first stage, forming, is characterized by individuals coming together, getting to know each other, and defining the group's purpose and objectives. During this phase, members may exhibit politeness and caution as they strive to understand their roles and expectations within the group. It's a period of orientation and testing the waters as the group begins to take shape. You might remember your first day of grad school and how tentative you might have felt as compared to now. The subsequent stage of storming marks a phase of conflict and differences in opinion that are emerging. And it's a crucial period where members may challenge one another, they may challenge the group facilitator, and power struggles become apparent. Tensions arise as individuals express their unique perspectives and ideas, leading to a process of negotiation and clarification of roles. While storming can be challenging, it is a necessary step for the group to establish a cohesive identity. And this is where you might naturally get a lot of information about conflict resolution skills, family dynamics and roles, trauma responses, attachment styles. There's so much to it. And then following storming, the norming stage involves the resolution of conflicts and the establishment of shared norms and values. Members develop a sense of camaraderie, and collaboration becomes more harmonious, and shared understanding of goals and expectations takes root. Norming sets the stage for the group to progress to the performing stage, where members effectively work together to achieve their objectives. And that final stage, adjourning, may or may not happen in a group if it's more of an open group. You usually see this in a closed group, but it acknowledges the conclusion of the group's task. This phase involves reflection on accomplishment and emotional aspect of saying goodbye, making it a crucial part of Tuckman's model. As addiction counselors take on the role of group leaders, a multifaceted set of responsibilities and considerations come into play. Beyond the fundamental task of establishing and sustaining the group, we must also be extremely self directed and hone our skills in tailoring group interventions to meet the distinctive needs of our clients. For instance, recognizing prevalent themes such as women in recovery with children or individuals grappling with co occurring conditions prompts the counselor to craft specialized groups that address these unique challenges. Whether it's creating a supportive space for single fathers navigating parenthood while navigating recovery, or facilitating discussions tailored to specific demographics, like maybe a veteran status. The counselor's role involves keen observations, needs assessments, and responsive group design. The counselor's responsibility extends beyond the inception of the group to the ongoing facilitation and maintenance of a conducive and productive environment. This demands a nuanced understanding of group dynamics, therapeutic techniques, and the ability to adapt interventions to the evolving needs of participants. As group leaders, addiction counselors play a vital role in fostering a sense of community, encouraging open dialogue, and guiding individuals through the shared journey of recovery. Ultimately, their proficiency in assessing, designing, sustaining groups significantly contributes to the effectiveness of addiction counseling within diverse and dynamic settings. The selection of group members becomes a critical aspect that demands careful consideration. While we don't often have the luxury of handpicking participants, there are scenarios where unique nature of the group allows for a more deliberate approach to client selection, like a closed group. Addiction counselors must navigate the delicate balance of identifying individuals who would thrive in a group dynamic and contribute positively to the collective journey of recovery. Not everyone will be group appropriate. Considering criteria for inclusion or exclusion becomes imperative. Factors such as the specific focus of a group, the stage of recovery, the presence of co occurring conditions all influence the ideal composition of participants. For example, if the group is tailored to single parents in recovery, individuals with shared experience may find common ground and support. As I said, often we don't have the luxury of selecting who will be admitted to our group. In such cases, the counselor's skills lies in adapting the group process to accommodate diverse individuals, fostering inclusivity, and effectively managing the dynamics that naturally arise within the group. Regardless of the context, the counselor's expertise in understanding group composition and group culture remains pivotal in shaping the therapeutic space conducive to the recovery needs of those seeking support. When we create the group, we consider the place, the time, the size of the group, the duration, the frequency, the preparation for each group setting. The place will likely be based on the setting that you work within. It's common to see larger group sizes on average. It's said that the most productive group would have a group size of no more than 12 individuals per counselor. I think my sweet spot is around like 8 or 9. I really love a group that size. The duration of the group is important, as we know. We tend to lose focus over a long period of time, especially for those experiencing post acute withdrawal syndrome. And for intensive outpatient groups, groups are usually offered 3 hours, 3 days a week. Partial hospitalization groups are usually 4 or 5 days a week, and that could be anywhere from 4 to 6 hours of group per day. The duration of group for outpatient settings can be 1 or 2 hours, sometimes 1.5, just to split the difference. And the frequency of the group will be based on not only the need, but the level of care. Being able to prepare for a group is important because you'll need to carve out time in your schedule to show up with a plan that's revolving around an ever changing client need. We can't just choose interventions because they're fun or we're comfortable with them. It's got to be a skill that we are able to hear the meta story of each group and craft interventions that will reach every single person. Although we might come prepared with the most perfect plan that captures everyone's needs so well, our best laid plans will probably fail. There might be other presenting needs within the group that day that we need to attend to immediately, and our plan goes out the window. The ability to be flexible and adapt is very, very important for addiction counselors as group leaders. And culture building is a necessity. How do we build culture in the room? Is it trauma informed? Is it safe? Do we address individuals on their spectrums of change individually? How do we pull them together as a group? And how do we encourage strength-based environment where people are able to share their most deep secrets and meaningful experiences and explore who they are today? To do that, the addiction counselor will need to do a lot of boundary setting. The group norms and group rules need to be established early and often. And I would encourage you to work with the group members to establish these norms and rules. We'll take direction and lead in this area. However, we need to have their input, and it's very important that we frequently revert back to the rules and norms of the group and address when somebody is stepping outside of it in a very transparent and healthy confrontation way within the group. Typically, if you're doing this on a regular basis, group members will in fact confront one another when another group member is not following the norms and rules. And something that I've heard a while ago that I really liked, and it meant a lot to me, was that group rules are first a shield, not a sword. That's a nice little metaphor to play around with in your head. So, therapeutic factors are also extremely important. And what you do as an addiction counselor brings to the table what's your skill set? What types of tools do you have? And who are you? Again, addiction counselors need to be very self assured of their skills and be able to be effective in the room, knowing that there will be times when they'll be challenged, knowing that you will not always have the answers, and that's okay. But finding ways to be effective within the room and be true to yourself and your values is extremely important. Yalom identified therapeutic factors as 11 primary factors that the therapist is responsible for in a group counseling setting. So, while this overarching idea of all group therapy, it definitely applies to addiction counseling groups as well. So, the first one is installation of hope. The group provides a sense of optimism and inspiration as members witness the progress and improvement of others in similar situations. Installation of hope is one of the therapeutic factors that we need to provide a little bit more focus to. It's a very powerful tool when working with addicted clients. The installation of hope includes the group leaders too. Belief in the client's ability to change may assist the client's motivation level and provide the support needed to make changes around addictive behaviors and the corrective emotional experience. We begin to highlight this earlier in the lecture. However, a client can heal from a previous trauma by re experiencing the emotions in a group while having a chance to reflect back on them with honest, caring, and supportive group members. This corrective emotional experience is that opportunity for change right in the group. Also, the installation of hope is very important. The addiction counselor encourages clients to do it differently and consider the concept of stepping out on blind faith. Universality. So members realize that they are not alone in their struggles, fostering a sense of shared experiences and connections. Sometimes you might encounter the opposite perspective when meeting a client, that it comes off a little ambivalent, and maybe they're coming off with a sense of like chronic uniqueness. Having a client join a group that says, oh, no, 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 I'm not like them, I don't need treatment, or my favorite is, I'm just a heavy drinker. What is sitting in a room of addicts going to do for me? The answer to this question is universality. We're more alike than we are different. And that realization is powerful. They can have a new perspective around shame and guilt and how this experience applies to them. They're also afforded the opportunity to see hope and understand that change is possible and reduce the feeling of social isolation for the addicted individual. Imparting of information. So, this one is about educational aspects of the group process, where members learn from both the therapist and each other and contribute to personal insight and understanding. And this might be through the obvious psychoeducational parts, or it might be through social observation and group learning. You are modeling appropriate behavior to them. Altruism. Helping others in the group can enhance self esteem and provide a sense of purpose, contributing to personal growth. The corrective recapitulation of the primary family group. Ugh, it's a lot of words, but the group can serve as a microcosm of the family. We already kind of discussed this. And what this means is it allows the members to reenact and address unresolved issues or unfinished business from their past. Knowing that what we see happen within a group setting is often a snapshot of what is happening within the individual's real life, we can take a corrective action stance with them and allow opportunities for growth and change right within the group. And you might look at this as practicing or experimenting with different boundary setting, different types of conflict resolution styles in this safe group bubble before they move out inside of their family or inside of their social units to practice it on a larger scale. Development of socializing techniques, members can improve their social skills and interpersonal effectiveness through feedback and modeling within the group. Imitative behavior. So, positive behaviors observed in others can serve as models for change, promoting adaptive behaviors. It's common that you'll see individuals within the group start to act as the counselor, maybe reflect back sayings that the counselor has used in the room. It's a little scary and creepy the first few times that you hear it or you see people doing it, but they're starting to apply the concepts, and that's positive. However, we need to be careful that that does not become grandiose and it is an individual group member isn't testing the threshold of boundary setting in the room. Interpersonal learning, the group setting provides a laboratory for understanding and improving interpersonal relationships, offering feedback and support. And it's a great opportunity to learn from one another, have a shared experience, and allow this to feel as though you're not alone. And it's normal. Individuals can learn from one another in a very profound way within a group setting. Group cohesiveness. This is a sense of belonging and connection within the group. It contributes to a supportive environment for personal exploration and change. Thinking about our group stages, group cohesiveness will come in time. There's many dynamics within the group. The group leader will help to manage that. You'll also have individuals in the room who will help to manage that too. You'll have individuals in the room who will help to break that. So along the way, we'll see the ebb and flow of cohesiveness, and this is especially true of whether it's an open or closed group. Catharsis. This is the emotional release and expression within the group, and it can be very therapeutic, allowing group members to process and relieve pent up emotions. However, we want to avoid this ongoing catharsis when it becomes unproductive or counterproductive and starts to distract from the group norms, the rules, the group goals. Catharsis is a part of group, it's not the central focus. And existential factors. So the group can help members confront existential concerns such as life and death, providing a platform for a deeper exploration of meaning and purpose. What else is happening for the individual that allows this to be beneficial or not for them in the room? Existential factors might include the actual environment that they're within. What does the setting look like? What does the room consist of? Does it feel homey? Does it feel safe? Does it feel cold? What about the coworkers or your frontline staff who are sitting at the front desk welcoming people in the door? What do we know is going on with people outside of the group room? We want to know that we want them to know that we thought about them before they even enter the room, before they get there. And sometimes that means turning on the lights, getting the coffee brewing. Sometimes it means a little game with the thermostat and some temperature control. Sometimes it means sitting there for 5 to 10 minutes before the group starts, maybe doing a meditation to center yourself. Start the group before the group starts, if you know what I mean. Really make the clients feel like you are thinking about them, you are welcoming them, you want them to be there. That's one way to start grappling with some of this existential stuff, especially if you have somebody who's grappling with feelings of not feeling very connected or not feeling like they belong. Group counseling techniques offer a dynamic and collaborative approach to fostering personal growth and emotional well being within a supportive community. Unlike individual counseling, group counseling involves a carefully facilitated interaction among members who share common concerns or goals. These sessions harness the power of collective insight, providing diverse perspectives and a sense of universality that can be profoundly transformative. Group counseling techniques encompass a wide array of strategies from structured activities to open ended discussions, all aimed at creating a therapeutic environment where individuals can explore their challenges, develop interpersonal skills, and benefit from shared experiences of the group. Using guiding, directing, and following within the group will all be necessary to allow each group member to take ownership of the space because it's their group, it is not your group. These are some techniques that you can tap into the collective wisdom and empathy of group members, fostering a sense of connection and empowerment in the process of self discovery and healing. Linking is where you would be linking one experience or story with another one in the room. So this might look something like, "Hey, Joe, last week you shared something really similar to what Sally's talking about today. Joe, I'm wondering what you have to say to Sally that might be successful for you. What's worked for you? What might be helpful for her to hear right now in her experience?" Blocking is, in a sense, cutting off. Sometimes people within a group will start to block others, and this might be a trust factor. It might be a triggering experience for them. But if somebody's blocking within the group, it's our task to address that and say, "Hey, I noticed you just cut off what Joe was saying. Can you tell me what caused you to do that?" In a process group, we would want to address that and be very transparent about it. We want to confront in a healthy way too. And again, to help understand interactions among interpersonal skills and social behaviors that help to form positive group and recovery process. We engage in active listening, reflect in a meaningful way, facilitate goal achievement, offer clarification statements, summarize, continue to be empathetic, interpret what's being said, and make sure that your understanding correctly confronts the behavior in a way that's empathetic and offers ongoing support to the group members. Specific issues for addiction counseling group therapy. Trust is, of course, the number one issue within the group. How do individuals know that they can trust one another in the group? There might be people sitting in the room who have done wrong to another individual sitting in the room. You might have a drug dealer sitting in a room that sold drugs to somebody, or somebody's lost a loved one to an overdose, and the drug dealer that supplied the drugs is there in the room. This happens more frequently than you might think, and that more frequently you'd ever want. Pittsburgh's a really small city, especially here. People are bound to know somebody within the group or at least be connected in some way. We don't permit people to be in relationships together and sit in the same group at the same time. That can, in fact, lead to a number of different dynamics that are unhealthy and allow people not to open up. So, in these situations, we try to allow one member of the relationship to go in one group and another to go in another group. So, they're still getting therapy, they still have a voice in those places for other trust concerns. And confidentiality is extremely important and must be addressed as part of the group norms and rules. If confidentiality is broken within the group or somebody takes something that's said within the group outside of the group, I believe this would be cause for termination of a group member. That should be something that should be discussed among the group openly, and trust needs to exist. And we have to work at building trust and allow a culture of safety. And this might happen in conversations about confidentiality, but where it really happens is in conversations about vulnerability. Individuals joining addiction treatment programming often have a sense of denial and might struggle with internal or external motivation factors. We do understand denial, ambivalence, and resistance are all part of the change process, so need to navigate that in a healthy and safe way. Specific issues regarding relapse of group members. So we do not allow, of course, people to bring in drugs to the group or weapons into the group or participate in group therapy or any therapy while they're under the influence of substance. It's not ethical and it's really not safe. And those things need to be transparently said. And how are we going to address it when an individual reports a relapse to the group? Consider whether you're offering an open group or a closed group and what that might mean. Some groups offer 3 strikes, and you can create a rule that that individual might be able to relapse 3 times within the group setting prior to being asked to leave the group. Would you continue to allow somebody in the room to engage in harm reduction efforts? And how might that be the same or different or bump against your 3 strikes rule? So consider where you're at. As a therapist, what are the needs of the group? What are the rules of the agency or the system that you're working within? And how do we productively address relapse with care and support while still creating an environment of safety for everyone else? You'll need to determine when it does cross the line, and we'll need to look at doing something differently at that point. And that might include recommending a higher level of care in order to meet the individual's needs. So, if you're in intensive outpatient, maybe that looks like inpatient treatment or partial hospitalization or something that might help them meet their goals better. And therapist self care is extremely important as we talk about specific. As I talk at all, as we talk about specific issues within the group. I'd like to reflect back on the stages of group and think about the unique challenges of each stage and how they might impact the facilitator. The counselor knows that it's important to please all members of the group. No, it's impossible to please all members of the group. We need to get comfortable with making unpopular choices if that's what's in the best interest for the group at large. Whatever the action the counselor might take, the group members will find some fault with it. Don't worry. Trust me, they will, especially in that storming phase. And sometimes you just can't win. If the therapist is caring, the group might say that they want more authority. If the therapist is authoritative, the group might say that they want more flexibility. If the therapist is really rigid, they might say they want less rules. If they're really laissez faire, they might want more rules. So, a potential attack on leadership will never be unanimous, but to some degree, it will be personal and it will feel very personal. And the leader must acknowledge his or her flaws and possibly apologize to the group. You will not always have the right answers. You will not always do the right thing. You may have regrets, but look at them as a learning opportunity and make some positive change. Counselors need to learn how to take on criticism of the group and also set boundaries within the group. Groups will definitely bring up that microcosm idea from Yalom and that I was talking about earlier, and the clients, and it'll also be brought up within the therapist. This can be a lot of self learning occurring in the group by being the therapist, and you'll also get to see that as an intern working within a group, or if you're ever supervising an intern, it's a really fun process to watch unfold. So, back to self care. How do we manage and keep calm and cool even if things aren't going our way? Recognizing that there will be tests and we have to find ways to cope through them in an effective way and engage in self care to be able to work around that. While most programs ride the wave of group therapy in addiction settings, we're flipping the script here. It's not about getting access to therapy for as many people as possible at any given time. We're amplifying billable hours. It's about empowering individuals to steer their own treatment, especially in consideration of their relationships with others. But hold on, the excitement doesn't stop there. As addiction counselors, we're the architects of intentional, meaningful, and downright productive group sessions. Picture this: crafting sessions that resonate on a personal level, meeting individuals right where they are in their recovery journey. It's about weaving a tapestry of support that's diverse and dynamic as the individuals themselves. And here's the kicker: we're not neglecting ourselves in the process. There's a lot of data in every group. Paying attention to the interpersonal dynamics, verbal content, nonverbal content, the meta story, and all of our own stuff. Self care requires a balance that's not just sustainable, but invigorating, where we can navigate the highs and lows with finesse. It's a pleasure talking to you about groups. I love group counseling. It's where I really cut my teeth. And if you have any questions, I would love to hear them or chat with you about any of your group experiences. Thanks so much.